Hey, this is Striker once again with another demonstration slash tutorial around how I do things in the Hornet. This is going to be focusing on SEAD or DEED missions. That's the suppression and destruction of enemy air defenses. This is a follow-up to a video which I had released February 9, 2023, titled How to Master HARM Pre-Brief Mode. So today's Hornet loadout will consist of 4 HARMs, it's high-speed anti-radiation missiles. And I'm going to be showing how I use pre-brief mode to take out enemy SAM radars. This video assumes that you have some basic knowledge of how to manipulate the controls within the Hornet. I'm not going to go into detail with keybinds and such. It's really just being able to use the sensor control switch to change between the HUD and the HARM page. Hopefully this will help some folks out who have been having some difficulties figuring out how to use these HARMs against enemy air defenses. Now, I'm just going to be taking the HARMs with me if I was going up against a site that had something like the SA-15 or SA-10s, which can shoot down your HARMs before they even get there. I would also load up with some TALDs. Depending on how many air defenses there are, like SA-15s or SA-10s, you might have to do this in a couple of strikes, which I've done in the past and put on my videos, where I would launch with a boatload of TALDs and let them deplete the enemy air defenses, and then I would follow on with some HARMs and maybe some JSOWs. So let's get this thing rolling. I hope you enjoy it. It's kind of like a part 1 of 2 videos. I have another how-to video that's going to be following this, which is pretty cool if you're using VR. It's kind of a new way of entering coordinates. It's to replace my other video around using the Way and Scratchpad. And I should have that out soon. I'll see you in the cockpit. Thanks. All right, so we've got everything in active pause here. I wanted to kind of give the layout of how I do stuff with SEAD and DEED missions. So we're at about 23,500 feet, headed towards the target area. We've got 2 emitters lit up already. I can see that in the HUD. But let's get things set up here in the office. All right, first thing I want to do is go to air to ground mode and bring up the HARM page on the left. You can see we have 4 HARMs, 1 on each station on the wings. Press that again, we're into the HARM page. On the right DDI, I'd like to bring this up into the EW page so I can see where the emitters are out there. And the AMPCD, I'll go into the SA page. All right, back to the HARM page. As you can see, it defaults to self-protect. Self-protect is great if you're in close proximity, low down, like kind of close to where the emitter might be. If you're flying in an area where you think there's something, you're not sure, you could have it in self-protect mode. It will lock onto anything that locks you up, but that thing can be 100 miles away or 80 miles away. SA-5 site, SA-10. If you launch, when you get that, the HARM message, it's that HARM's not going to get anywhere close to the target. Maybe 30 miles out, and it'll crash into the ground. So I don't really do too much in self-protect mode. I do like target of opportunity mode, which is the next one. I do want to set this to change the class from all emitters to just hostile. And that way, we're only looking at the enemy stuff. You're not going to accidentally blast some friendly stuff that's out there, and will clutter up your display. So as you can see, we've got an SA-6 out there, and then there's an S, which is a search radar for the flat face. Those are out in the same area, but they're not right next to each other. That cross in the middle is where the HARM seeker is looking, or the front of the HARM seeker, and all the targets appear relative to it. So if I pitch the nose down, those guys will appear above the HARM seeker. I'll pull way back up, they'll appear towards the bottom of the HARM display. All right, so let's go ahead and central control switch left, which is towards the harm page. And if you look up on the HUD, you'll see we have a box. Now, if I change from the 6 to the search, you're going to see that box move. See? On the SA6, on the search radar. So what I often will do, if there's a lot of emitters close together, stacked on top of each other, I'll go into handoff, and that'll isolate what I'm looking at. And if I don't want the 6, disengage handoff, step to the next one. Oh, yeah, that's the one I want. If not, get rid of that, and so on. So let's go ahead and get that SA6 search track radar locked up, or not locked up, but ready to be engaged. So what I do is I'll do a central control switch up, which sets the HUD in command. And then you can see in the center of the flight path marker, there's that dot that appeared that tells you that you're in command of the HUD. Now if I depress the TDC, it'll drop a diamond on the HUD. It's an open diamond, which means you can slew it around. When you slew it, you'll see the range on the bottom right hand side of the HUD changing. So if we go up into that box, right in the center of it, that should be pretty much where that SAM is. So let's go ahead and TDC depress. That sets that as our target, and then I'm going to drop a mark point there, mark point 1. Okay, let's do the same for that search radar. So I'm going to sensor control switch left back towards the harm display. I'm going to step over to the search radar. When you look up on the HUD, you'll see that the box is moved to show where that emitter is. I'm going to do sensor control switch up. I'm going to pan that diamond over and down a bit to where that center of the box is, which is roughly where that search radar is. TDC depress, and then drop a mark point there. So this will allow me to easily find those emitters again if I have to fly around, if I'm busy, doing stuff. So hey, mark point 1 is my SA6. If I do waypoint designate, there's that diamond. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll unpause. I'm going to be going after that SA6. Actually, before we do that, the next thing we want to do, so now we know where they are, their distance, we want to go into pre-brief mode, because that's what we're going to do to engage them. So pre-brief, and I'm going to do aircraft pull-up or harm pull-up. Aircraft will give you greater range. So these long ranges, I'm going to go aircraft pull-up. But now we have to enter the harm code for the SA6. So I have a kneeboard, and it's 108. So if I go to upfront controller, target, you got to press that button, 108, enter. You can see it shows up there on the harm page. That's our target. We're in aircraft pull-up mode. Okay, so I will. I'm also going to arm, make master arm hot, and let's unpause and continue pushing towards the target. So we want to keep that aim line kind of centered if you can while we're heading towards it. If you need to maneuver, it's all fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for that to change to show me my launch cues, my pull-up cues. And then that's when I'm going to get ready to fire my harms downrange. So that'll probably be around 60, 58, 59 miles. So we'll head on in, and I'll see you once we get there. There we go, active pause back on. So about just a little under 58 miles away. We've got the pull-up cues for the harm. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to step back into target of opportunity mode, because I want to tighten up the sighting for that SA6. Look at that, it's still dead center. So I'm thinking we're in good shape. So I'm going to continue, I'll go back to pre-brief mode. And let's push into the target and I like to give a little bit of extra room, so probably closer to 50 miles is where I'm going to get the harm out. We'll see some a timer on the harm display show up once we're a little bit closer. And there it is. It's counting down from 2.5 minutes. So once we get to about 50, I'm going to launch. I'm going to start pushing into afterburner, get some speed. We need to pull up so the flight path marker passes through that horizontal line up there. I'm going to start pulling back, nice, smooth. Keep that flight path marker on that line. There we go. Roll off. Okay, so we got one away, and you can see the countdown on the harm display. Now I got to trim aircraft right because I don't have a missile hanging over there anymore. Okay, so you can see we've got the countdown now. I want to also go after that search radar, so let's go back to target of opportunity mode. Step up to mark point 2. I'm going to sensor control switch left, step over to that search radar. Now you can see that diamond's a little bit low, so I'm going to sensor control switch up, grab command of the HUD, moved it up a little bit, TDC depress. And the only thing we need to do is look up what the flat face is. For harm code, it's 122. So go back to pre-brief mode, up front controller, target 122, enter. Now we're good. Let's center up that line. Push into afterburner. The other missile is going to impact in about 40 seconds. Press the pickle button, pull back. And there's our other one. And so that countdown is now reflective of my last harm that I shot off. All right, let's see how these harms are doing. Trim out the aircraft. Got a new radar contact. Okay, this is coming in on the SA-6. Looks like a good, boom, nice. Direct hit. Let's see how the other one's doing. He's still climbing. Okay, so we have a new contact come up. Woke up the SA-8 over there. So I'm going to do back into target of opportunity, center control switch left. I'm going to then see the 8. I'm going to center control switch up. Move it over to the center of the box, which is where that SA-8 is. TDC depress. Let's have a look at that other missile while we're on this descent. Now I need to look at what the 8 is. 117. So up from controller, target 117. Enter. Let's see how that missile is doing. Oh, look at that. There's a flat face. Nice. Got that guy. All right, so now we still have that 8 up there. I'm going to do harm pull up because we're pretty close. And depress, get between those two chevrons, and off it goes. Oh, we've got a dog ear search radar out there as well. He's further off. Let's push in a little bit closer. That SA-8 looks like it went silent, which is never good for our harm. We'll do an autopilot. Oh, is he back? There he is. He's back. All right. Harm is starting its dive. Let's see how that does, and then we can always go and play with that dog ear. that SA-8's in the middle of that triangle formed by the runway and the taxiways and the apron. Oh, there's aircraft parked there. All right, 64%. Is that going to be enough to take it out of commission? Maybe not. Let's go back to target of opportunity. Let's push in towards the SA-8. Yeah, it looks like he's off. Okay. Let's go see if we can find that dog here. There he is. All right, let's go sensor control switch up and move that TDC up into that box where the dog ear is. Depress, we're at 29 miles. Let's do this as a target of opportunity. So when you do target of opportunity launches, the missile just flies straight in a straight line from you to the target. It doesn't arc up or anything, so you do want to be closer. I'll the sensor control switch left. I'm going to hand off for that dog ear. You don't have to designate it or anything when you do handoff. You just need it in the box on the harm display. All right, we're coming up on 15 miles soon, so let's go ahead and get ready to fire at this guy. Let's do it now. 17 miles. Magnum. Break off. Let's ride that missile in. So you can see it slowing down. It's got a flat trajectory in dense, low altitude air. We'll reach them. I find often these guys fall short. Yeah. See, only did 25% damage to it. It wasn't really a whole lot. It's one thing I don't really care for with the target of opportunity is it's a flat shot in. Anything in the way, if there's a tree, it'll take out the harm. So whenever possible, I'll do pre-brief, but I'll use target of opportunity to fix the location and distance of the emitter. Right, so use that. It's kind of a two-step, like a multi-step process. Target of opportunity, pick your emitter, and then use the TDC on the HUD, get that into the box, you get your distance, designate the target, and then step into pre-brief mode, identify the harm code, and push towards the target, and follow the prompts. Anyway, that's it. Hope you had fun. I cleared out the SAMs at that airbase, but there's still potential for risk from there, right? We got a whole bunch of bombers sitting there on the apron, and that runway is still operational. So we cleared the way for some follow-on strikes. I think we're going to have a Strike Eagle come in and take out the runway, do some cratering, munitions on it, and then a follow-on strike with a Hornet taking out those bombers. That'll be a part 2 video of this, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful and hopefully you had fun. Take care.